Hi guys, welcome on board A320. My name is Yasir Durrani and today we'll be discussing the pressurization system for the A320. So, why is the pressurization system required? This aircraft which we are flying flies at approximately 39,000 feet. That's quite a high altitude at which the passengers and crew and any human being for that matter will not be able to survive. We as humans can handle an altitude of up to 10,000 feet, at the most up to 14,000 feet approximately at given point of time. Beyond that, a human body cannot sustain life. So to ensure that at 38,000 feet, 39,000 feet, we are able to survive, what is done is the air which is inside the aircraft is pressurized to a altitude of maximum of approximately 8,000 feet. Okay, how is that done is the pressure inside the aircraft is maintained using a outflow valve. All that is done is air comes in from the air conditioning system. The pressurization system doesn't bother about that air. It just controls how much of this air can go out. By closing the outflow valve, you allow less air to go out and you pressurize the aircraft. By opening the outflow valve, you allow more air to go out and you depressurize the aircraft. How is it decided how much this pressure should be is based on a value known as delta P. Delta P is the difference between the pressure inside versus the pressure outside. Since the aircraft, being a structural body, can only handle so much of pressure or difference in pressure, the delta P plays an important role. Airbus has said that the difference in pressure between inside and outside should not exceed 9 psi. Okay, if it goes beyond 9 psi, then the structural integrity of the aircraft might be compromised. The aircraft might not be able to handle more than this much pressure difference between inside and outside. So delta P at any given point of time plays an important role at the rate at which the aircraft is pressurized and depressurized. And the other important factor is comfort of the passengers and crew sitting inside. The rate at which this pressure is changed, okay, is controlled so that it is comfortable transition for the passengers. So that is calculated in terms of cabin altitude rate of climb or cabin altitude rate of descent. Now, rather than talking about pressure in the sense in PSI, terms of change of pressure in terms of PSI, Airbus said, let us talk about it as cabin altitude rate of climb and cabin altitude rate of descent. This is so that it is more easily and instinctively relatable for pilots so that they understand if my aircraft is climbing at 3,000 feet per minute and my cabin altitude is climbing at 500 feet per minute, what it means is more instinctively deciphered by pilots and they are able to comprehend it faster. All right. So this is how the calculation is done. Now, what is done? Who is doing the calculation is CPC, cabin pressure controller. There are two cabin pressure controllers at any given point of time. One of them is controlling the system, the other is sitting on standby in case of failure, and they keep alternating each flight. How do they control this aircraft? It uses the outflow valve and it has a pre-programmed schedule that it uses. So let's understand that schedule. So basically what is done, different phases of flight, the outflow valve is controlled differently. So for example, there is a phase, the different phases of flight are what? There is on ground, then there is at takeoff, before takeoff, I would say, before takeoff, all right, before rotation, at takeoff, before rotation, then there is in climb phase, then there is cruise phase, there's descent phase, there's before landing, all right, there is at landing, and there is again on ground after landing. All right, there is also an abort phase. We will discuss that after that. All right, so let's discuss one phase at a time. So first we will go through on ground. What happens on ground? On ground, everything is fine. Passengers are okay with the pressure. So there is no need of this outflow valve to do anything. So the system says you stay fully open, boss. Abhi tera kuch kaam nahi hai. Then there is at takeoff. When you put takeoff thrust, you are about to start your in-flight phase. All right. So what the system realizes is, yeah, if you immediately start pressurizing the aircraft after you take off, it can be discomforting for passengers and crew, because suddenly transitioning from unpressurized to pressurized flight can have some kind of discomfort or physiological discomfort can be experienced. So before you actually get airborne, the aircraft starts to pressurize the system starts to pressurize the aircraft at a rate of 400 feet per minute till the delta P is equal to zero point 0.1 psi. So thoda sa pressurization is done so that the body starts getting used to flight from unpressurized to pressurized. This is known as pre-pressurization. That is, before the actual need of pressurization, you have started pressurizing the aircraft. All right. This is for a comfortable transition from unpressurized to pressurized flight. Then comes climb phase. In climb phase, a pre-programmed rate of change of pressure is maintained to ensure, firstly, comfort of passengers, and second is to ensure that this delta P does not exceed prescribed values. All right. Then comes cruise phase. Cruise may a certain cabin altitude, level of altitude is maintained with a maximum of 8,000 feet cabin altitude as prescribed by Airbus. All right. So this is pretty simple. Pre-programmed rate is there. Pre-programmed cabin altitude is maintained. Again, in descent, it is a pre-programmed rate of descent for comfort and delta P to be maintained according to the requirements. All right. Finally, before landing. Before landing, just like before takeoff, the delta P is brought down to zero point 0.1 psi again, so that again transition from pressurized to unpressurized is not sudden. Okay. Lastly, now once you have landed, the aircraft outflow valve is opened to release pressure at a rate of 500 feet per minute till it is completely unpressurized. Finally, on ground after landing, 55 seconds after landing, the outflow valve is again fully open. All right, outflow valve is again fully open. Approximately 70 seconds after landing, if CPC-1 was controlling the system in the first situation, this entire flight was CPC-1, it changes over to CPC-2. Vice versa, if CPC-2 was controlling the system, it changes over to CPC-1. So each one exchange their workload after each flight after landing, 70 seconds after landing. All right. So that is how the system works. At any given point of time, if CPC-1 fails in flight, CPC-2 automatically can take over and do the job. Now I discussed that there's something known as abort mode also. What does abort mode do is, after takeoff, if a climb is not detected by the system, if the system detects कि यार इसने तो take off thrust डाल दिया but I am not seeing any climb taking place, then it will recognize कि you have aborted this takeoff and delta P will be brought back to 0.1 psi without pressurizing the aircraft any further. All right. So this is how the aircraft configures the pressurization schedule according to on ground fully open at takeoff 0.1 psi. Just before rotation, it's 0.1 psi for comfort of passengers to transition from unpressurized to pressurized. Pre-programmed rate of climb, pre-programmed cruise altitude, pre-programmed rate of descent, and before landing again 0.1 psi, it comes back to 0.1 psi. Landing के बाद the pressure is released at a rate of 500 feet per minute. On ground 55 seconds later, it's again fully open. All right. And 70 seconds after landing, it switches over. One computer takes over from the other. Abort may, in case it does not recognize a climb after takeoff thrust is applied, delta P is brought back to 0.1 psi. Maximum pressure that the aircraft can handle is 9 psi. So how does aircraft, in case there is any failure in the system and the pressure is not being maintained within 0.9 delta P 9 psi. What is done is there are safety valves installed. Airbus always has a backup plan. In case this system cannot handle this situation and delta P exceeds 0.9 psi, two safety valves have been installed. Not one, two safety valves, which will hold the pressure and sense if there is an increase in pressure, positive pressure of more than 8.6 psi, it will relieve the pressure. It also has a negative pressure control of minus 1 psi or negative pressure of minus 1 psi. So if the pressure outside is more than the pressure inside, it will be able to handle that situation as well. So a positive pressure of 8.6, the safety valve will operate. And if the negative pressure is more than 1 psi, again the safety valve will operate. All right. So that is as far as the safety valve is concerned. Let's discuss what else we have in case of any abnormal situation. So the CPCs work on a very simple principle. They use all this funda and they calculate what they need to do. To do that, they have three modes of operation. There's the auto mode, there's the semi-automatic mode, and there's the manual mode. To understand how they work, let's understand what information goes into these computers. It's pretty simple to understand that by looking at the schedule itself. Looking at it, you will realize, okay, you need to know whether you are on ground or whether you are in air. To understand that, you can use the LGCIU. So the LGCIU tells the CPC, okay, boss, you are on ground or you're in air. Then you want to know whether you are landing or you are taking off. What is your situation? You have landed, you have taken off, where are you in phase of flight? So you can use the thrust lever angle position. For that, you will use the EIU. Then you want to know your delta P. To know your delta P, you need to know the outside pressure. How will you calculate? You need static pressure. Who calculates static pressure? ADIRS. They calculate the static pressure and they will also tell you how much correction is required, compressibility error, density error, all those errors are there. So barometric errors which are there, it will be able to compensate for and tell you what is the pressure outside. So the ADIRS calculates the static pressure and the barometric errors. All right. Then what else do we need? What else is required over here is the landing elevation, because you need to know what the landing elevation is to pre-program the rate of descent, and you need to know the pressure. The QNH will be need to be calculated now, so that you know what is the delta P 0.1 psi kitna hona chahiye. So for that the FMGC and FMGS is used. You will enter the QNH into the MCDU. It will be used by the FMGC and they will give you the QNH, as well as the landing elevation is calculated from the database. So all this information goes to the CPCs, CPC1 and CPC2, and the CPC1 and CPC2 run an AC motor. Each one has its own AC motor, and that AC motor will run this outflow valve. All right, so that covers automatic mode. In semi-automatic mode, what happens? Suppose this information, let's take, there is a corruption in the FMGC. The database is lost for some reason or it's incorrect. So what is done then? You can manually enter the landing elevation through the overhead panel. You can enter the landing elevation through the overhead panel. You can monitor what you are entering on the ECAM and you can turn the knob and enter the landing elevation. So based on what you have manually entered the landing elevation, the CPC will still do the same work, but it is known as semi-automatic mode. Instead of automatically getting the landing elevation, you are telling him what the landing elevation is doing, what the landing elevation will be, and it will do the automatic functioning based on your manually entered landing elevation. Lastly, if CPC1 and CPC2 fail, or if these AC motors are not running, there is the function of manual mode also. You can manually control this outflow valve through a DC motor. All right. Now there is a little condition to this. The DC motor is not as powerful as these AC motors. So its response time is a little sluggish. It takes a little bit of time for you to see what you have fed in into the system. So once you use the DC motor trying to open or close the outflow valve, Okay, by moving up, you open the outflow valve, and by moving down, you close the outflow valve. So by doing that, it will take about 5 to 10 seconds to see a response from the outflow valve on the ECAM. Okay, so when you are using manual control, please be sensitive to that fact that when you are making an input, wait a few seconds for it to respond. Otherwise, your situational awareness of what the position of the outflow valve is and what you need to do to correct it will be compromised. Okay, so give it a little bit of time and take it easy while you are using the outflow valve manually. Furthermore, when you're using the manual mode, your delta P and other pressure information that is being given to you and the position of the outflow valve on the ECAM, that is not as accurate as when you're using the automatic modes. The range of accuracy is little bit poorer than when you're using the automatic mode. So you have to keep that in mind also while you're using the manual mode. Keeping that in mind, okay, this range is the information is compromised and that the manual mode is a little sluggish. The safety valve has a range of 8.2 psi to 8.9 psi and not only 8.6 psi. So sometimes you might see the safety valve operating at 8.2 or 8.9 psi because of this inaccuracy in the manual mode's operation and sluggishness in the manual mode operation. Okay, so that is as far as the different modes of operation are concerned and as far as the safety valves are concerned. Let's discuss a couple of more things. There are, I think, three more things to cover in this, which is regarding the abnormal operation procedures. We have covered everything regarding the normal operation procedures. So suppose now you are landing in water, ditching. At any time when you are ditching, all the systems which have valves have to be discussed. If any valve is below the flotation line, that is going to be compromising your aircraft in the ditching scenario. All right. So in case of your pressurization system, the safety valves are above the flotation line. They are not below the flotation line, so they do not have any issue during ditching. But the outflow valve is below the flotation line. So when you push the ditching push button, the outflow valve will close. That is in automatic mode only. In manual mode, you have to physically close it. It does not close on its own. So that is as far as ditching is concerned. Now, if you push the ditching push button while you are on ground, suppose some maintenance work has taken place and the ditching push button had been pushed and you come to flight, or for any reason, somebody just pushed the ditching push button, you are not aware of it, you come for flight and you see the ditching push button push, be aware that when you push the ditching push button, the outflow valve will close. Now, if you come in and you tell the engineer, yeah, start the low pressure air conditioning system, and low pressure pump is started, and air from the air conditioning system is introduced into the aircraft. On ground, what will happen? The delta P will start to increase and the pressure inside the aircraft will start to increase. You should keep this in mind in case you see the ditching push button is pushed on ground and you are using the low pressure air conditioning pump. All right. So that is as far as ditching is concerned. Now let's discuss if in air, your air conditioning system fails on you, or if in air, there is a smoke scenario. Then what happens is you might have to call the ram air inlet into the picture. Ram air inlet allows air from outside to enter the aircraft in case the air conditioning system has failed. You have no other option. So in this case, what Airbus has done, it has told the outflow valve to pre-program itself to sit at 50% open position. You can call it 50% closed depending on your point of view. It's the same thing. All right. So when the ram air inlet opens, 50% open or 50% closed position is automatically selected by the outflow valve. Okay, this has a precondition. This 50% open or close will only happen if delta P is less than 0.1 psi. Why is this so? If delta P is more than 0.1 psi, that means the aircraft is still got a higher pressure than outside. Now, if you open this outflow valve 50% in that situation, when there is pressure inside the aircraft, it is like bursting a balloon. Think of it logically. If you have pressure inside a balloon and now suddenly you make a hole in the balloon, what will happen? The balloon bursts. There is no normal transition where the air just nicely blows out. The balloon is going to burst and it will cause structural damage to the balloon. This is the same situation with the aircraft. If the delta P is greater than 1 psi, that means there is pressure inside my aircraft, so-called balloon. And now if I make a hole in the balloon, what will happen? The outflow valve will open 50% and suddenly there will be a sudden gush of air blowing out from the outflow valve opening. This might cause damage to my aircraft. So that is why in that situation, the outflow valve will not open 50%. Even if you are in auto mode, it will say, boss, in auto mode, okay, this doesn't make sense to me. You are going to be damaging the aircraft. Please think of what you're doing. I am not opening it 50%. This is only in auto mode. In manual mode, you have to physically do whatever you want to do. It will not do it itself. Even if you open the ram air inlet, you have to manually control the outflow valve. You decide then what you want to do, how you want to do it. So that is how the ram air inlet works in case of the outflow valve works in case we are using the ram air inlet. All right. So that is as far as the ram air inlet is concerned. The last topic left to cover is a computer known as the residual pressure control unit. This control unit has no work actually. It is on ground in case there is little pressure left. Suppose there is still delta P is being registered. Little means 0.03 something pressure is still being registered. The residual pressure control unit recognizes that situation and it allows the pressure to dissipate. It has few preconditions for working. First condition is you have to be on ground. It will only work on ground. This computer does not work in air. Second condition is both CPC should be failed or you are in manual mode All right. So if the CPCs are working, he is disregarded. If you are only in manual mode or both CPCs are failed, then this computer comes into the picture. Third is both engines off, both engines off or less than 100 knot speed. So you have landed, time what time ho gaya land, okay, all right, and you there is still little delta P pressure, all right. Last is fourth is outflow valve is not fully open, not full open. Then only this RPCU will tell the outflow valve कि sala CPCs are not working or you are in manual mode, engines are off or you're below 100 knots and you're on ground. तूने outflow valve खोला क्यों नहीं है? There is pressure inside the aircraft. Release this pressure. Then the RPCU will say, okay, boss, now I am taking control. You don't seem to understand what to do in manual mode. I am taking over. Outflow valve, please open fully, release this pressure, and let us end this flight safely. So that is the job of the RPCU. It is not a very complicated computer. Only if the other two computers are failed or for some other reason you have selected manual mode, when you are on ground with both engines off or below 100 knots, if the outflow valve is not fully open and there is some residual pressure in the system, RPCU will say, hey boss, please release this pressure. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. Outflow valve will open fully. Okay, so here we go. That is as far as the pressurization system is concerned. I've pretty much covered everything that I could think of. In case I have made any mistakes on my part, or if there is any incomplete or incorrect information, please do share it with me. I've created this platform for us to be able to share our ideas and knowledge and understanding of this beautiful aircraft that we fly. Hopefully today I was able to successfully accomplish that for the pressurization system of the Airbus 320. Thanks. Take care.